What's going on, everybody? Trev Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Wrench. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Remus Batch 6. Run the B-roll! That's right, this year's Remus Repeal Reserve, the Batch 6. We're coming off the heels of the Batch 5. Super excited for the Batch 6 to come out. It's here, and now we're gonna answer the question we all wanna know. Is it as good as the Batch 5? The Batch 5, one of the best bottles of whiskey ever made. Definitely one of the best last year. It was probably on every single whiskey tuber's top whiskey of the year list. It was just something special, absolutely delicious. Got everyone, me included, super hyped for the release of the Batch 6. We just want to know, can we keep getting amazing whiskey? So that's what we're gonna do today, is review this. We're gonna drink it, I'm gonna tell you what I think of it, and then we're gonna answer that question. Is it better or as good as the Batch 5? Now, a couple things to note before we even get into it, okay? So, I'm not gonna read you all the breakdown, you can just read it yourself. But this is a blend of 5 different whiskeys. The oldest in this blend is 14 years old. Now, important to note, that 14-year-old whiskey only comprises 2% of this bottle. If you look back at the Batch 5, that was primarily older whiskey, okay? I'm not saying older's better, I'm just saying they're gonna be totally different. The breakdowns are totally different. We just have to know that going into it, okay? The second thing about this bottle that kind of influences my thought process on bottles, maybe it does you, maybe it doesn't, but the price went up. So the Batch 6, was around $120. The Batch 5 was around $100. So they increased a little bit. A little weird to me, mainly thinking back at the Batch 5 had a lot more older whiskey in it. And then this one doesn't, yet the price still goes up. I think maybe they are just riding the hype and the success that the Batch 5 brought them. You know, like I said, everyone loved that bottle and it was a top whiskey of the year bottle. Coming into the 6, they knew that everyone was gonna go after it. They want a taste of that Batch 5. So let's keep that in mind as well. So let's pour this, let's drink it, let's review it, and then we'll see if it can follow in the footsteps of the Batch 5. Into the Bourbon Ranch Kinsey glass. Let me know, let everyone know in the comments if you got one of these. All right, let's get right into it. On the nose. Nice, rich caramel, nice, sweet vanilla, you know, bourbon. But there's a nice fruity aspect to this. Not just a fruit, but more, to me, like a Fig Newton. So you're getting the jammy raspberry fig flavor, but you get the crust too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the crust. Getting a little bit of whatever the heck is around the Fig Newton, okay? The breading, graham cracker type aspects to it. Think there's a decent amount of oakiness. I don't think there's as much oak on the nose as I was remembering the Batch 5 having. It's a little light, it's sweet, and it has the fruitiness. The nose, I think, is really good. So let's get into the palate. Okay, the first thing I'm noticing is, like, it has a drying characteristic. It's tannic. There's something on the back of the palate. Tannic. It's definitely oaky. I think some of that oak's drying it out. It almost makes me feel like there's a leather quality, like a saddle leather going on the back of the palate. Bringing in some of those tannins. That kind of took me by surprise. I need to go back. I need to see what's going on the rest of the palate, because that was pretty prevalent to me. Not as bad the second time, okay? I wouldn't even say that was bad, but it's not as drying now. That first sip, though, is gonna shock the back of your palate. I think this goes in waves. So up front is a very prevalent vanilla note. It transitions into a little bit thicker notes of some of that caramel, a little bit of that fruit, not as much on the palate as I was getting on the nose. So it's almost like a raspberry type thing mixed with some caramel in the middle of the palate. And then it transitions into an oakiness, the leather, just deeper, drier notes on the back of the palate. Decently mouth coating, kind of like an overall honey characteristic all over the palate, just honeyed all in me. I'm not finding too much spiciness with it. I think it's overall a little bit tame to me, or at least tamer than what I remembered the 5 being. Overall, I think it's pretty good. I kind of like the way that it, the complexity of those barrels blended into it, where it transitions through the palate. I think stuff like that's pretty fun, where you can kind of pick, like in the front of the palate are certain notes, in the mid palate certain notes, and on the back, it's like you're getting all of them on this crazy roller coaster ride. I think that's pretty cool. I think that shows you a sign of, they were probably going for a certain thing and they delivered it. Now, let's just move to the part of the video that you want to know. What everyone wants to know, is this batch, the batch 6, as good as the batch 5? And my answer is simple. Nope. This is not as good as the batch 5. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm gonna shoot it straight with you. This is not on the level that the batch 5 was. Let me go on a little tangent and then I'll bring it back around. It's not all bad and negative, but we gotta get that out of the way. I think that we might have been blessed with the best with the batch 5, okay? It had a lot more older stuff. It seemed just so dense and dark. Everything about it seemed denser and just more full. It was so much more complex or something. It was crazy. That bottle was insane. I think it puts a shadow over this one. And I know people are like, dude, don't compare it to batch, it's its own thing. No, we have to compare this to the batch 5 because that is our benchmark. That's what we know. So I gotta tell you, if you had the 5 and you wanna know how the 6 is, the best way I can say it is the batch 6 isn't as good as that. That being said, I'm not trying to talk down on this bottle. I think it's a good bottle. It's just, I think we had a really, really good bottle with the batch 5. I think that was something special. And, you gotta go into this knowing that this probably isn't going to live up to your dreams of replacing the batch 5. This isn't batch 5.2, this isn't the second iteration of that. It's its own thing, its own blend. It's going for something different. The best way I can explain this is when you drink the batch 5, I just knew. I was like, dude, this is friggin' whiskey of the year. I don't get that when I drink this, okay? I'm like, wow, that's a good bottle. I don't think it's at the great bottle level. My second issue is that this was more expensive than the batch 5. You know what I'm saying? The way it makes me feel is that the batch 5 should have been $120 and the batch 6 should have been $100. But they don't base the price on what something tastes like. Could you imagine if people did that? If you actually priced a bottle the way it tastes? It's so subjective, you couldn't do that. But 2, a lot of crap would be a lot cheaper than it goes for, you know what I'm saying? Overall though, let's just end on a positive note. I like the bottle. I think it's a good bottle. I think if you are a Remus lover, I don't see any reason why you dislike the batch 6. I think you're gonna like it and it's just gonna go on the shelf next to all of your other Remuses and it's just gonna be one that you reach for, okay? Is it as good as the 5? No. I think it's a few steps below it, okay? Let me just be real with you. I don't think it's on that level. So there's my thoughts and opinions on the Remus 6. Let me know below what you think of this bottle, where you think it stands compared to the Remus 5. Did you like this bottle? Did you think it was a good iteration? Did you think it was as good as the Batch 5? Am I just a total freaking idiot? Let me know, because I'm super curious. Go read the comments. People post a lot of good stuff down there. Give your opinions and thoughts on this, your flavor notes, so people can make an educated decision on whether this is a batch for them. Remember to like, subscribe, and go leave a comment, even if it just says Trev can suck it, because I do. Also, check out the links in the description. You can find pages like the Patreon page if you want to join that. Super cool rewards. And until next time, guys, I'm Trev Wilson. I will see you in the next video.